Have you ever really sat down and thought about it? The phrase from nothing to something may sound simple, but it's actually the story of every human life. Behind those four words lies the secret of how the world moves, and the path every soul must take to mature. What is nothing? It's emptiness, the unknown, the starting point, the state before anything has been defined. And what is something? It's the outcome, the creation, the order born out of chaos. It's what people build through their hands, faith, and persistence. From nothing to something is humanity's eternal process of fighting against the void through time and action. We've all experienced the stage of nothing. When we were born, we had nothing. No knowledge, no wealth, no direction, not even the ability to think independently. But it's exactly this nothing that gives us space to grow and meaning to chase. Imagine if life started with having everything. What would we have left to strive for, to create, to prove our own existence? Nothing isn't a flaw. It's a gift, a chance to begin again from zero. Behind every great story, there's always a beginning of nothing. Edison was mocked before he lit the world. Steve Jobs planted the seed of Apple in a garage. Jack Ma dreamed of the internet's future in a small rented apartment. They all started with nothing, but they were never afraid. Because they understood that nothing isn't scary. The real danger is the fear of taking the first step. The journey from nothing to something is never smooth. It's lonely, uncertain, full of doubt and pain. Along the way, you'll be laughed at, questioned, even beaten down by reality. But it's in those moments of falling and rising again that our bones and souls are shaped. Every failure carries the seed of transformation. Every low point is nothing quietly nurturing something. From nothing to something is more than a skill. It's a belief. It's the courage to light a spark in complete darkness, the strength to dream even when you have nothing left. When you believe in from nothing to something, you're believing in the greatest power of all, human creativity. Maybe right now, you're in that nothing phase. No money, no background, no direction. Maybe you're doubting yourself, doubting life, wondering if any of it still matters. But remember, everything that exists once didn't. Every success is built on countless moments of from nothing to something. The darkness under your feet right now is the very beginning of future light. From nothing to something isn't just a process, it's a mindset. It stands for courage, perseverance, and trust in the future. When a person walks from nothing to something, that's the moment they truly become the creator of their own destiny. They stop waiting for the world to give and start shaping it with their own hands. So today, this video isn't just about motivation. It's about breaking down what from nothing to something really means. Nothing means a beginning, a clean slate, a chance to redefine. Something means growth, accumulation, and self-transcendence. And from nothing to something, that's a creation driven by belief. A transformation from ordinary to extraordinary. It's a journey everyone must take. From blank to full, from confusion to clarity, from being unnoticed to shining bright. It's the truest, most powerful story of you, me, and every ordinary person. Next, we'll dive deeper together. What is true nothing? How can we find strength within it? And how do we, through time and persistence, build our own something? This is the essence of from nothing to something, a simple idea powerful enough to change a life. If you are walking that path right now, remember to subscribe so together we can light our own spark in the dark. In the long river of life, everyone goes through a phase of nothingness. It's that suffocating emptiness where every effort seems meaningless and every hope feels washed away by time. You watch others move forward while you remain stuck, wanting to chase but too exhausted, wanting to give up but too unwilling. This is nothingness, raw, honest, and painfully real. It's like a mirror that shows you your most fragile self. but it's precisely because of its cruelty that it feels so true. Nothing isn't failure. It's the soil from which new life grows. Every act of creation, every new beginning, starts from nothing. Think about the universe. It began as emptiness, and from one explosion, everything was born. Think about humanity. From ignorance to civilization, we learned, created, and evolved in the midst of nothing. Without fire, we struck wood. Without tools, we carved stone. Every miracle began with a blank slate. Don't fear nothing. It's not a flaw. It's untapped power waiting to be defined. Because you have nothing, you have the chance to rebuild everything. The danger of nothing isn't its emptiness, but the loss of hope. You doubt, fear, and deny yourself, but nothing doesn't betray you. It simply slows you down, giving you space to see what you truly want. In a world full of something, you're surrounded by applause and driven by goals, yet often forget why you began. Nothing quiets the noise. It lets you listen to your inner voice, reorganize your life, and rebuild your faith. Nothing is a gift from destiny, a piece of open land where you can plant new dreams and watch them grow. Every great person has lived through long stretches of nothing. When Steve Jobs was forced out of Apple, he had no stage, no applause, yet in that silence, he reshaped himself. When Jack Ma's first business failed, he never stopped moving because he understood nothing isn't the end. It's a path you must walk through. It doesn't test your talent, it tests your heart. In darkness, can you still believe in light? When everything fades, can you still believe in yourself? To experience nothing is to learn humility, to realize that every something has survived a season of nothing. You stop boasting about success and start growing quietly in the low places. Nothing is life's most honest teacher. It doesn't flatter you, but it reveals who you truly are. It teaches you strength in weakness, faith in confusion, and courage in helplessness. Most importantly, nothing helps you rediscover possibility. When you have nothing, you hold the most precious freedom of all, the power to redefine everything. No limits, no labels, no expectations from others. You can finally become who you really are. Many people run from nothing. They'd rather cling to the illusion of having than face the blankness of truth. But they don't realize, without passing through nothing, you can never truly have. Nothing is a door that can only be opened with sweat and persistence. On the other side lies the view you've been longing for. So when you feel like you have nothing, don't rush to despair. Maybe you've lost direction, support, and hope. But remember, every nothing is the prelude to something. Nothing is the stillness before dawn, the light forming inside the dark. Your task isn't to run away, it's to live with it. Sketch your new blueprint inch by inch. Ignite your belief, spark by spark. You don't have to have right away, just keep growing. Keep walking toward the light. One day, when you look back, you'll realize those days when you had nothing were the most precious of all, because that's where you learned independence and resilience, where you grew through the storm, and where from nothing, you finally found your something. The word having may seem simple, yet it's one of the hardest lessons in life to truly understand. Many people spend their entire lives chasing having, believing that to have is to be safe, successful, and respected. But they forget that real having is not about possession, it's about creation. You can have wealth, fame, and status and still feel empty inside because if what you have wasn't created by your own hands, it will always be a fragile illusion. Possession is temporary, creation is eternal. Having doesn't belong to those who hold the most, but to those who bring a little more light into the world. When you write words that move hearts, create something of value, or help someone believe in themselves again, in that moment you are creating having. True having isn't about what you own, it's about what you contribute. The history of humanity itself is a journey from nothing to something: fire, the wheel, writing, technology. Every step was born from what once did not exist. So when you say I want to have, what you really mean is I want to create. Creation isn't easy. It takes time, solitude, and persistence. It's a kind of spiritual practice. When you choose to create instead of possess, you're choosing a harder but far more authentic path. You might not be seen, your effort might not be understood, but remember, those effortless forms of having are just passing scenery. The strength you build through creation is the only wealth that lasts. Real having isn't a warehouse full of things. It's a living, breathing garden that changes with the seasons. Possession breeds anxiety. Creation brings freedom. Possession creates fear. Creation gives power. Those who fear losing are clinging to illusions, but those who keep creating will never truly have nothing. Because they know, as long as they can think, act, and love, they can always make something new out of nothing. The meaning of having doesn't lie in what you get, but in what you make. When you light someone else's lamp, your world grows brighter too. When you give warmth, you become richer yourself. The miracle of creation is this: the more you give, the more abundant you become. So when you chase having, ask yourself, are you trying to possess or to create? Are you clinging or planting seeds? Having is not a reward others give you, it's the process you build with your own heart. When you begin to create, you already have. When you stop creating, that's when you truly lose. The truly abundant person doesn't measure their worth by how much they've gained, but by how much they've created. As long as you still have creativity within you, even if today you have nothing, tomorrow you can begin again. Having is not possession, it's creation. It's a belief, a strength, and a kind of freedom that can never be taken away. In this world, there's one illusion that people misunderstand most easily: the belief that success comes from luck. People see others reaching the top and assume it's fate's favor. They see others shining and think they just caught the right wave. But they never see how many nights of darkness and loneliness lie behind that light. From nothing to something is never about luck. It's about faith and action. Luck might help you move smoothly for a while, but only faith and action can take you far and keep you steady. Many people blame fate when things get hard, saying, I don't have resources, I don't have opportunities. But all greatness is born where conditions don't exist. When you have nothing, the only thing you can rely on is belief. Faith is the strength to keep believing even in despair, the courage to move forward even when you know it's hard. It isn't blind, it's a conscious persistence. It doesn't seek others' approval. It only asks that you never give up on yourself. And what allows faith to take root is action. Faith without action is just wishful thinking. Action without faith is meaningless motion. Only when the two meet can miracles happen. There are no shortcuts on the road from nothing to something. It's a long path built from ordinary days, covered in dust and sweat. Every bit you learn, every small effort you make, every moment you persist, these tiny accumulations will one day become the results you dreamed of. Growth isn't about speed, but about direction. When others stop and you keep walking, when others retreat and you hold your ground, when others doubt and you still believe, that is the power of faith and action. Repetition is the quietest yet strongest force. Reading 1 page a day, walking 1 mile, learning 1 new skill, these seemingly trivial habits will quietly reshape your life over time. Every miracle is built upon years of ordinary effort. When you feel slow, when you feel hopeless, believe this, it's in those unseen days that you are silently growing stronger. Faith keeps you from giving up. Action keeps you from drifting in fantasy. Many people don't lose because they lack ability. They lose because they stop halfway. The rule of destiny is simple. Only those who reach the end see the outcome. The seed you plant won't sprout right away, But as long as you keep acting, time will repay you. Action is the truest form of belief. It's more tangible than dreams, more powerful than words. Those who can move from nothing to something aren't luckier than others. They're the ones who kept going when others stopped, who kept believing when others doubted. Fate does favor those who are prepared, and preparation itself is built from faith and action. Luck may give you a beginning, but how far you go will always depend on that unyielding faith and steady effort. Remember this: every time you persist, every time you try again, every time you choose to keep going, fate takes note in the dark. Every journey from nothing to something is powered not by luck, but by countless steps forward in defiance of retreat. Faith lets you see the distant horizon. Action carries you toward it. As long as you keep moving, the night will eventually give way to dawn, and you will finally step out of the void to embrace your own something. When we've walked through the long night and taken each step forward from a place of nothing, we finally come to understand that from nothing to something is not just a process, it's a spirit, a belief. It is humanity's most primal and most magnificent impulse, to create order out of chaos, to ignite light within the void. This impulse is the beginning of civilization and the deepest calling of life itself. In the vastness of the universe, each of us is small and fleeting. But it's precisely because we are small that we long to create, because we are temporary that we seek something eternal. The spirit of from nothing to something is the flame that burns beyond fear and despair. It is the power that refuses to be defined or defeated by fate. It's what keeps a child studying in poverty, an entrepreneur smiling after failure, a scientist working in solitude year after year. This power can't be seen, but it exists in the hearts of all who choose to keep going. Those who live from nothing to something never bow to circumstance. They don't complain or depend on others. They believe only in action, creation. They know the world won't stop for their tears, nor will fate show mercy for their exhaustion. So they plant seeds, water them with faith and sweat, and eventually let life bloom. For them, having is not about possession, but about becoming. Faith is not religion, it is the direction of the soul. True from nothing to something is an unending faith, one that keeps you trying when you're doubted and holding on when you're alone. It tells you that life isn't about waiting for destiny, it's about using your own hands to create meaning. This spirit is the courage to reject mediocrity, to refuse to be tamed by comfort, to choose burning over merely breathing. Those who persist in creating may be lonely, but they are free. They may struggle, but they shine. Sometimes you may have nothing, but if your heart still holds the desire to change, then you already carry the seed of something. True abundance isn't having everything. It's still believing in the future, even in the face of nothingness. This faith helps you keep walking through the dark, keep trying when no one applauds, and find strength even in failure. When a person holds such faith, they no longer fear nothing, because nothing is no longer empty, it's a beginning full of possibility. Failure stops being the end. Fear stops being a cage. As long as there is light in your heart, the darkness will fade. Every leap of humanity began with nothing, the first stone tool, the first poem, the first flight. It is because we believed that the world slowly changed. That belief is the oldest power in the human soul, the conviction that we can create something out of nothing. When this spirit takes root in your heart, it becomes a faith, more lasting than wealth, deeper than achievement. It keeps you hopeful in the lows and humble in the highs. It helps you realize that true having is not about what you possess, but about who you become. From nothing to something is a way of living. It teaches you that everything can begin again, that as long as you are breathing, you can create once more. Life has no real ending, only new beginnings. Every restart is an act of self-transcendence. So when you feel lost, tired, or ready to give up, remember you are not walking toward an ending, but walking the path of creation. Every step you take turns nothing into something. Every act of persistence lights up the future. Those who can light themselves in the dark will one day light up the world. From nothing to something is not just a spirit, it's a faith. It frees us from the fear of beginnings, from the loneliness of the path, from the weight of failure. It reminds us that as long as there is belief and passion within the heart, we can rebuild from the ruins and summon light from the darkness. As long as there is faith within you, you will always be able to walk from nothing to something. And now, we finally understand, from nothing to something has never been just a slogan, but a long, arduous journey and a profound awakening of the soul. It begins in the barrenness of nothing, moves through the creation of something, is refined by faith and action, and ultimately ascends into spirit and belief. It is a path with no end. Along the way, you will doubt, you will hurt, you will lose your way, but as long as you keep walking, you've already surpassed the person you were yesterday. From nothing to something is not about conquering the world, it's about recreating yourself. True strength isn't measured by how much you possess, but by the courage to begin again after losing everything. A person's worth is not in what they once had, but in their choice to keep believing and keep acting even when they have nothing left. That faith is humanity's most precious treasure. Too many people are frightened by nothingness, afraid of low beginnings, poor conditions, and difficult roads, yet they forget that every something is born from nothing, and every beginning is the best time to start. Nothing is not a punishment, it's an invitation from destiny, asking, do you have the courage to create? Do you dare to light a spark in the dark? Those who dare to start from nothing will one day become the light that guides others. Life will not always be kind, and fate will not always be gentle. You will fall and lose your way, but remember, those are not endings, but the beginnings of rebirth. When you rise again and tell yourself, I'm still alive, I can still move forward. As long as you remain on the path, nothing will never be the end. From nothing to something is a belief that lets you see dawn in the darkest night, a choice that makes you reach out even in despair, a spirit that reminds you that even a single spark can drive away the night. That is the meaning of life. No step you take is ever wasted. Every detour leads you where you're meant to go. Every seeming loss is preparing you for the moment you'll arrive. Every effort, every act of persistence quietly transforms nothing into something. And when you look back, you'll see how far you've come. So far you'll barely believe it yourself. So don't be afraid of nothing. It isn't emptiness, it's potential. It isn't the end, it's the beginning. Believe this, every great story begins with nothing, and your life, too, will become extraordinary because of your journey from nothing to something. It is the meaning of human existence, the path of the growing soul, and the proof that hope never dies. It teaches us that you can start from zero, rebuild from ruins, and create your own dawn, even in the darkest night. This is the power of from nothing to something. When all the noise fades and every light goes out, still believe there is a light within you, born of faith, born of a soul that refuses to surrender. That light is your something. In that moment, you are no longer blank, you have become your own creator. Always remember, from nothing to something is not luck, nor a miracle, but the courage to never give up, again and again. When you dare to believe, to begin, and to persist, the world will eventually make way for you. From nothing to something, from darkness to light, this is the most magnificent journey of life.